On Wednesday, South African trade unions will embark on a national shutdown against the rising cost of living, fuel costs and load shedding. SAFTU and COSATU have called people to stay away from work or to take to the streets in various rallies across the country. The National Union of Public Services and Allied Workers will also embark on their own action ahead of the national shutdown. NUPSAW's General Secretary Solly Malema joins us now to discuss this further. Solly, thank you so much for joining us. Now, you are embarking on a nationwide shutdown on Wednesday to reflect the broader societal concerns resulting from poor governance, austerity measures, corruption, among other things. Why do you think we have left things to deteriorate to this extent?
Look, all of us, we are aware that the working class is in trouble because of the austerity measures imposed by this government on us. That's why we had no choice but to take a resolution to respond to these attacks by the government.
Now, the plan...
And firstly, let me correct, we are having two campaigns.
Yes.
The first one will be on Tuesday, the 23rd, where we will be marching to the National Department of Health and also to the National Department of Social Development and to Union Building. And then SAFTU will join us on Wednesday with the continuation of the shutdown, which is in line with Section 77 of the NETLAC.
All right. I just want us to unpack the Tuesday's marches, the pickets that you're going to have with the Department of Health and then also the Department of Social Development. What are your demands when you're going to picket outside these two departments?
One, at the National Department of Health, we will be demanding the permanent employment of all the community health workers in the country. If you recall very well, we fought so hard as NUPSAW to realize Resolution 1 of 2018, Public Health and Social Development Sectoral Bargaining Council, to recognize the community health workers as the employees of the department. We have done very well. So far, Gauteng have complied with that resolution. So we are going to hand over the memorandum to the Minister of Health, Joe Pasha, to say comply with the resolution as soon as immediately, or else we will run his department ungovernable.
You mentioned earlier on...
Also, yes.
Sorry, continue. Yes?
We will be also demanding the insourcing of the security officers in the Department of Health, because we do not see any reason why these services must be outsourced to few individuals. We will also be submitting a memorandum on the insourcing of the cleaners and all the EPWPs in the Department of Health. We don't see any reason why these people, workers, must continue to be marginalized.
You mentioned earlier on that the last stop for that day is the Union Buildings, where you also hold a night vigil. You're demanding that President Cyril Ramaphosa come and accept your memorandum of demands in person. That's
correct. Maybe before I go to Union Building, let me take this one to the Northern Cape Department of Health, where the department is acting like a federal state. They are completely refusing to implement Resolution 1 of 2018 by paying those community health workers through a PESAL system. So what we will be telling the minister, or instructing the minister to do, will be to say, do not give the Western Cape conditional grant until such time they comply with that resolution. So that will be our demand. Coming to the union building, where we will be embarking on a night vigil, and we will be supported by our sister unions, SAFTU unions, affiliates. We are demanding, that will be a consolidated memorandum by SAFTU, which will be submitted on the 24th, on the day of the total national shutdown, where we are demanding the issue of, we are saying the level of unemployment is too high. The president must ensure that the youth in particular of this country are employed, the level of crime, and we are also saying the issue of the public service wage. It can't be correct that the parliamentarians gave themselves 3% increase, while during the hard lockdown they were stayed at home, working from home, and our members were struggling with COVID, and they come back and say, we are getting 3% and we are only giving you 2%. That is completely unacceptable. And we want to inform our members that we have already declared a dispute on that one last week, Friday, with our sister unions, the police union, SAPU. And we are appealing to all the unions to follow suit so that we respond to this attack by this government.
In response to the percentage increases that government has agreed to give to workers as opposed to the 3% that they're giving themselves in Parliament, what's the difference in terms of cost? How much would it cost for increases of 2% as opposed to that of 3%? Or what percentage are you as unions demanding for?
We demand in 10%. Remember, the inflation is too high. And secondly, the public servants did not receive the increase as per the resolution 1 of 2018 PSCBC, the last leg, if you recall very well. So currently the public servants are struggling, and the worst part is that even we were hoping that the Minister of Finance, Enoch Godongwana, during his budget speech early this year, he will factor a better increase for the public servants. But instead, he gave corporate 1% because he has cut the corporate for saying there's no money. We don't believe it, because how do you give the richer more money and you then cry for poverty?
Now, you've held similar pickets in the past where you've demanded the reinstatement of EPWP workers in Gauteng, like you also mentioned, as well as pickets in Limpopo. Is this effective? Are you yielding the results that you're hoping for, or does government simply come back and tell you that there aren't any funds?
It is indeed yielding the results. If you recall, in Gauteng, they wanted to terminate their contracts. And we said, no, you can't do that. If you do that, no will tear. And they succumbed, if you recall, to that pressure. Now we are going to intensify. We no longer want these fixed-term contracts. We want permanent employment for these workers. They've been on the system for a very long time. This is as a result of the austerity imposed on the working class, because this government, they no longer want to replace or fill in the vacant post in the public service, but instead they're using the CHWs, EPWPs, and other categories of workers to continue exploiting the workers. So we are saying enough is enough. We are going to confront this government until such time they do the right thing.
Solly, lastly, what do you believe it would take for government and unions to find a meeting point around these issues?
Look, the unity of the working class is sacrosanct. If workers of this country can unite to end this exploitation, I'm telling you, all what we are seeing, all these attacks will stop. So we are appealing to other trade unions as well, in the private sector, in the public sector, to unite regardless of the logo, so that we confront the real enemy. Because how do you imagine inflation sitting around more than 6% and you getting an increase of 2%? So it is a crisis. It needs the working class to come together and confront the current situation.
All right, thank you for that contribution. That was NUPSAW's General Secretary Solly Malema giving us an update on the pickets that will happen on Tuesday leading up to the national shutdown that will take place on Wednesday.